plan for surviving the end of Social Security? Hey everyone, Adam Bergman here, tax attorney and founder of IRA Financial. On today's Adam Talks, should we start preparing for the end of Social Security, potentially even in 2032, 2034? Yeah, it's possible. So let's figure out a plan. And the good news is there are some tax strategies, and I'm going to focus on the one I know best, and that's the Roth IRA or the Roth 401k strategy, which will actually end up working out way better than Social Security. The issue is it's not free, right? You have to put into the IRA, and obviously you'll get out hopefully a lot more. Yes, Social Security is the same thing, right? You put it in, you pay taxes, whether it's employment taxes or various taxes that end up funding our Social Security system. So in today's podcast, I'm going to explain what Social Security is, how it works, and why it may end by 2034, which is only 11 years away, and what we can do to save ourselves, to protect ourselves, so we have sufficient money to live if the government decides to pull the rug from under our feet. So basically what's going on today is COVID changed a lot of things, and I'll get to that in a sec. But basically, the future of Social Security is uncertain. We've been here before over the last 5-6 years. There's been the risk that Social Security could run out. Will the Democrats, Republicans, whoever is in power actually allow that to happen? Debatable, but we need to prepare nevertheless. So essentially, when it comes to Social Security, you can start receiving benefits at age 62. However, you're entitled to full benefits by the time you reach the age of 70. Now, there's also a chance that they push that back too. But what's going on here is that there is, according to the Social Security Administration, the cash reserves for Social Security are going to be depleted by 2034. So that's why the topic comes in. How are you going to survive without Social Security? Well, all their funding will be depleted by 2034. All their reserves. Now, 1 year earlier, there was a report that indicated that annual taxes are expected to cover only about 78% of benefits each year after that. So the idea is that, hey, at some point in 2034 is the date, there's going to be no more tax money left to cover Social Security. Why? Well, we know what's going on in the workforce, right? People are living longer, and guess what? Smaller amount of people are actually working. Whether it's COVID, whatever reason is, we all see it. If you have a business, there's super low unemployment. It's very, very, very hard to find people that work. That's why I've always been a big proponent of legal immigration. There's a lot of smart people around the world. Heck, even in Ukraine, various countries. Let's bring them in. Let's get them visas. Even if it's a 20-year temporary visa with no right to vote. Let's get them in. We need people to work, because what's happening is they will pay employment taxes, which will help fund Social Security and also allow us to continue to be the most productive and efficient workforce in the world, which we're not anymore. We just aren't. We don't have enough people working. So by 2035, the number of Americans 65 and older will increase to more than 78 million from 56 million today. So there's the number, right? Less people working, more people that need Social Security payments, meaning less money to go around. Payroll taxes are expected to cover, as I mentioned, about 78% of the scheduled benefits. But if the funding gap isn't filled, retirees can get lower Social Security payments or maybe nothing at some point. If changes are made to deal with the trust fund shortfall, benefits will have to be reduced. Benefits will have to be reduced by 25%, according to the 2022 annual report from the Board of Trustees. Okay, so will it be zero? Maybe not. Will it be cut? Potentially. Or what will happen? No one knows, right? Before 1981, Social Security wasn't taxed. Now it's taxed, right? So you pay tax, you get Social Security, and then they tax you on the Social Security. It's like a triple tax. Maybe they'll change the way it works. Maybe if you have more than X income level, you won't get Social Security. Maybe it will be reduced. We don't know, but what can we do is we can prepare ourselves. Okay, but before I get into my strategy, let's talk about how Social Security works. Basically, 65 has always been considered the standard retirement age. but it doesn't mean that that's when you get Social Security. The average retirement age in the US was 62 and 59 for women in 1992. Since then, the average retirement age has trickled up closer to the norm. In 2001, average retirement age was 63 for men, 60 for women. 9 years later, those numbers are 64 and 62. Now the average retirement age, 61 in 2022. But again, you can get Social Security benefits at 62 or 70, and then the whole play is the earlier you get in, the less benefits you receive. The longer you can wait, the more benefits you're going to get. So just some numbers here. For those who are collecting Social Security at age 65, average payment for 2022 was about $2,500 a month. This is according to the Social Security Administration. That's based on the agency's estimate that the average annual benefit was $29,806 for Social Security recipients who are age 65. The average yearly benefit for 65-year-olds in 23 has risen to $30,708, or about $25.59 a month. These are higher than the average benefit number that was released in February 23 by the Social Security Administration, which is $1,693. Why? Because some people take money earlier than 65. They start at 62, and for various other reasons. So the average number is about $1,700. But if you're looking for people at least 65, it's approximately $2,500. And obviously, the longer you can wait, the better off you're going to be. Of course, not everyone could wait till they're 70. So what I wanted to do is now talk about what can we do, right? Let's say it's a 10-year gap. Say it's a 20-year gap, 30-year gap. Maybe it never gets closed, right? Maybe Social Security is forever. But let's always plan for the worst, right? That's my dad always taught me that. We should all keep that in mind, right? Nothing's guaranteed. We should all plan for the worst. So the beauty of the retirement system is it's based off the power of deferral, compounding returns. Your money will grow every 8 years, assuming an 8% rate of return, or your money should double every 8 years, assuming an 8% rate of return. So what we can do is save smarter. And when I say save smarter, is focus more on saving in a retirement account and less saving in a taxable account. And here are some examples that will back that up. Let's say you start from 28 to 58. Okay, it's a 30-year window, and we'll play around with some of these numbers. You put away $5,000 a year, assuming an 8% annual rate of return, which today's market with 5% at a bank, 8% is doable. At age 58, you'll have $611,000. Okay, now instead of 58, let's say we did 65, which is like the Social Security age. You have $1,000,096. So that means if you have $1 million at age 65, and you take out, say you need $50,000 a year, 5% a year. It's doable, right? That means if you have $1 million at age 65 and take out 5% a year, $50K. That's more than Social Security, which is about 30. Let's say you need $60K for two people, 6%. And as long as you can get above 6%, you're not going to touch your principal, and hopefully your money will grow as well a little bit. If you get an 8% rate of return, your money will even grow. But even if you get only a 5 or 6%, at least you'll stay flat. That $1 million, which is Roth, so Social Security is taxable. So let's say it's you and a spouse getting 30K each. That's 60K. You're still paying tax at that. Whether it's 10%, 12%, 15%, it's still subject to tax. If you have it in a Roth, it's tax-free. So you're also saving that 10 to 20% on top of what you pull out. So again, this is the first strategy, right? It's saying, okay, I'm assuming Social Security is not going to be around at age 65. I'm 28 now. What can I do? Put away just $5K a year from 28 to 65, an 8% rate of return. I'll have over $1 million. And then at age 65, even if Social Security is gone, I can still pull 5-6% out, probably not touch my principal, and still have the 50, 60,000 to spend tax free. Where if I did it through Social Security, it would be taxable. Now, in a perfect world, you're doing both, right? You're working, you're paid into Social Security, you're going to get your 30K a year per person, hopefully, if you can wait along to at least 65, and you'll also have your retirement account, right? That's the play. Let's say you're older, right? Let's say you're 45, and you're like, 5K may not work, okay? But let's say I'm going to be able to put in 10K a year, okay? 10% of your salary. Let's say you make 100K, okay? And saying, I'm not sure about Social Security. It's 2023. Maybe it's not going to be depleted in 11 years. Maybe it's 30 years. I'm 48, 46 now. Let me go to 65. How much will I have, assuming 8% rate of return? What will I have? So you'd have 566,000 bucks. If you put away 10K a year from 46 to 65, assuming an 8% rate of return, you'll have 566,000 bucks. Okay, so now you can see, is that great? Well, it's not horrible. You'll need to pull out to get to your 60K, about 10% a year, which will start depleting your principal, right? But let's say instead of 10K, you can put away, I don't know, 12K, right? Now you're at 678, right? So you see where I'm going. If you're starting out late, you're going to have to find a way to put more in because the system runs off simple mathematics. Put in money, grows without tax, should double every 8 years, assuming an 8% rate of return, bang. But instead of 8%, let's say you put in 12,000 bucks a year and you can get 9%. From 46 to 65, you'll have 757. Okay, let's say you go back to 8%, but instead of 46, you start at 42. 42 to 65, 996. So you see, now you're getting up there. Instead of 65, maybe you can hold off to 67, 1.2 million. Okay, so you can see where I'm going here. This is the time, whether you're in your 20s, your 30s, your 40s, to say, okay, Social Security could be here, may not be here. I don't know, but I'm not taking any chances. I'm going to put away as much money as I can in an IRA, hopefully a Roth IRA, a Roth 401k. And this is I'm not saying you got to do alternatives. You need to use IRA Financial. I don't care. Open it at any company you want. If you are working, you should do everything in your power to max out. If your employer is offering a safe harbor match, profit sharing match of at least 3 to 4%, you should be saving everything you can in a 401k. Why? Because they're going to give you a match on what you put in and potentially even more. So the system is actually rigged in our favor. I keep saying that it's true. Why? Because it's based off compounded returns. Our money gets to grow without tax. And if it's a Roth, so long as we're over 59 and a half, the Roth's been open 5 years, it's all tax free. So even if Social Security goes away, we still can protect ourselves and we can still make sure we generate that 30,000 plus per person to help supplement any other income we have. Now, you're probably sitting there, well, I save through retirement anyways, but I'm counting on that 30K from Social Security or whatever it is, that 2,000 bucks a month. That goes away, I'm going to be in trouble, potentially. But this is the time to buckle down and say, you know what? I'm going to put more money into the retirement account. So let's say I'm putting in 10 into a retirement account. We try to put away 13 or 14. I max out my 401k at work. I'm going to do 6,000 in a Roth every year. Why not? Instead of saving in my personal account, or instead of buying that snowmobile or that boat, I'll push it off for a bit and I'll put the extra few thousand bucks each year into a Roth IRA. Right? Even if you max out and you work full time and make $1 million a year, you can still put money in a Roth IRA. If you make 50 grand, 100K, maybe you put away a few $100 extra a year. There's always things we can do. This is a wake-up call for everyone. They're telling us, hey, Social Security may not be around forever. It would be a travesty, and I don't know if any party in power would ever allow that to happen, because I can promise you they would not get reelected the next election cycle, guaranteed. Whether you're a Democrat or Republican, if you are in power and you cut Social Security, you're not getting elected for a long time or reelected, guaranteed. Because everyone wants free money, everyone paid into the system. So I don't think Social Security will ever go away. But I do think there'll be limitations, whether it's moving the retirement age from 62 to 65, whether it's limiting benefits for people above a certain income level. I don't know what it's going to be, but they have to do something because the system's going to run out of money. So what we can do, instead of relying on the government, which no one wants to do, right? Who wants to rely on the government for our sustenance, for our livelihood? Like, that's the American way. You take it into your own account and you work hard. And whether you start a business, you work for a business, you don't just wait for Social Security. So Social Security will be limited or even go away. We can start saving more in a retirement account. The system is rigged. the money can grow without tax, and you can pull it out without tax. So if you're able to pull the 60K out of a Roth IRA, you're not paying tax on it, or a Roth 401K. Whereas if you pulled 60K on Social Security, you're going to pay tax on that Social Security amount. So you're going to reduce that amount by at least 10, 15, 20%. So 20% on 60K, it's 12K, right? So it's money. Even 10% on 60 is 6K. So it actually works out better. Now, it sucks because we've all paid into the system, so we expect it to be there. But instead of just being mad and throwing a fit, we need to do something about it. So I don't think it's going to go away in 10, 11 years. In 20 or 30, I don't know. So if we each have 25 to 30 years, then whether we're in our 20s, 30s, or 40s, we can do something about it, right? So more numbers. Let's say you're 35 and we got to go to 65, $5,000 a year, $611,000. Okay. So it's money. It's money. Now, let's say you're in 35 and you need to go to 65. Okay. And you really need to push you can do $12,000 a year. Okay. So if you go 35 to 65, 12,000 a year, right? 1.8 million. It's 30 years. Okay. 35 to 65. So if you don't have 30 years, you maybe have 20 years, you're 45 to 65, that number goes down to 750. That's on an 8% rate of return. If you had a 9% rate of return, you're looking at 842. So that's all doable. It's not in a perfect situation, but at least you have something to tap into, right? It's not zero. 842, you pull out 60K a year, that's 8%. Okay, you can still potentially keep your principal. Even if you have to tap into your principal, at least you have something to tap into, and you're not just, holy cow, I got nothing. I was counting on that 60K from Social Security. My husband, my spouse and I, we need it. Now it's gone and we're in deep trouble. Hopefully you've listened to this podcast. Say, hey, I remember that guy, Adam. He speaks quick. He thinks he's kind of smart. He has this fascination with retirement accounts and how the system's rigged in our favor. Shit, I should have listened to him, because now I would have had 6, 7, 8, $2 million that I could have tapped into tax-free. Okay, so you get the money working for you, you can pull it out tax-free, and you don't have to rely on the government. In a perfect world, you're doing this simultaneously on 2 tracks. You're hoping Social Security is there, you're working, you're paying into the system. At the same time, you're maximizing your savings, whether it's Roth, pre-tax, IRA, or 401k. Doesn't matter. I don't care if you do stocks or alternatives or fixed income, bonds, doesn't matter. You just need to do it. So that is the key. The key is to stay focused, trust the process, and just be diligent, be smart. And the IRS is warning us, or Social Security. They're telling us what's going to happen, so we just need to be prepared. That's it. I hope you guys enjoyed today's podcast. It's important. It's scary, but it's important. 11 years can come quicker than you think. I don't think it goes away in 11, but maybe in 20 or 30. So we can do something about it. And let's take this into account. Let's be aggressive. Let's be proactive. And that's what I'm doing. I'm saying to myself, Social Security will be gone in 30 years or 20 years when I'm 65. But I'm not going to rely on the government. I've never relied on the government for anything, whether it's healthcare, whether it's sustenance, roof over my family's house. I'm going to provide, and I'm going to do what's good. And I think every American needs to do whatever they can. Now, of course, we paid into the system. We deserve the money. But what does that mean, right? There's no guarantees in life. So assuming Social Security is still there in 20, 30 years, great. You just have extra money to do great things for your family. It's a benefit, whether it's paying for your grandkids for school, buying your kids a house, or helping with a house, or going on vacations, or whatever it is. Just have extra money. That could be tax-free. I can grow tax-free. So it's a win-win. Sometimes you plan for the best and plan for the worst, expect the worst, and sometimes you get a great outcome. And I think by using this strategy, probably makes the most sense, and definitely something that we all should be considering, because hopefully we'll have both. We'll have the Social Security and the extra cash in our retirement account. So thanks for listening and for watching on YouTube. That thumbs up, really appreciate it. Don't forget to give it a like, and definitely subscribe to our amazing YouTube channels. 3 to 4 videos a week. I do a YouTube live, usually every Wednesday at noon Eastern, and 3 podcasts. So if you want to watch the podcast, you can. It's all good. It's all free. What are you waiting for? Do it. No, seriously, it's content. It's hard to believe it's free, but it is. That's the kind of guy I am. So have an amazing rest of your day. Thanks for listening or watching, and take care.